Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Hall of Fame Show, Season 6. I think we're in episode 4. I believe that's the correct one. And apologies ahead of time because I've got a very little anxious little mini Dachshund. She was making a lot of noises. If I let her down, she's going to make more noises. So hopefully she's going to try to be well behaved. But if you hear a lot of barking in the background, that's this little thing. She can't help it.
Got it.
Her owner is Kirk Buchner. Hello. And along with Evan Nolan, we run this joint, notinhalloffame.com, and the United States Athletic Hall of Fame ballots are out to our selectors. We're going to be word a lot selectors today because they did not have a good month. Not because of what they chose, just because they got thrown under a bus.
They did get thrown under a bus. And as usual, the people in charge of whatever Hall of Fame it is learned the wrong lesson.
Should we start off with that?
Sure. Well, let's talk. I mean, I'm sure you've been. This man is going back to back on his episodes today. So Iron Man streak intact here. So I'm sure you've already talked about this. Let's just go through the Pro Football Hall of Fame and let's just talk about the Pro Football Hall of Fame and who was elected, and then we can go into the Jim Porter stuff afterwards.
Sure.
So I think going in, we expected there to be. Last year there were 4 people who got in. We had 3 of the main group, and then only 1 person from the senior contributor coach category. This year, we got slightly better. We got 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 2 first ballots in Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald, which surprises nobody for either of those. And we had 2 of the 4 people who got the automatic bye into this round in Adam Vinatieri and Luke Kuechly, both in their second year. Which means probably that Adam Vinatieri and Luke Kuechly, if we rewind to our previous season about this time, I said those are probably the 2 people who were just left out on the outside.
Right.
And they're in this year, which just means the whole process is just delayed us being able to talk about other people. And yet somehow Eli Manning is on our ballot. Good class. And of course, Roger Craig got in finally. In San Francisco. I don't know if you saw the video of his knock. Did you see that one?
I saw the videos, yes.
Yeah, Ronnie Lott and Charles Haler outside his door. Ronnie Lott goes to knock on the door and never gets a knock because Roger Craig rips it open. And then seems shocked. He has like one of the craziest shocked faces, like, I don't know, 10 seconds later when he's totally got in the hall, as if those 2 guys just shown up in the yellow jackets to prank him or something. But yeah, I don't have any problem with any of these 5 guys getting in.
Same.
None whatsoever. I do think it was interesting that the next 3 that we know about, right? Because they went from 7 to 4. Those next 3 are Willie Anderson, who was there previously, is one of the 2 left over from the year before. Terrell Suggs, who former defensive player of the year, absolutely a Hall of Famer. I mean, he would have been in this year if they hadn't changed the rules, right? And who was the 3rd one? I'm blanking out right now. Oh, it was Marshall Yanda.
Yes.
So the interesting thing about that is the drop we had off of Torry Holt.
Yes.
All the way from the top group to eliminated in the first 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is not great for Holt, but I think next year, and well, we don't know what the rules are officially going to be. We'll talk about that in a second. If they go back to 5, I think it's a good year. It's good for Holt next year. If they don't go back to 5, Holt may never get in at this point.
It's certainly the biggest disappointment for any player who didn't get in has to be Torry Holt. Darren Woodson being a close second, I would think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Woodson is another very good candidate.
Yeah. But the Holt one was certainly very surprising. I mean, yes, he got leapfrogged by Larry Fitzgerald, and bluntly, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone would have a problem with that. I would, however, think it's an interesting drop off, though, and I wonder how many people just switched and just didn't.
Yeah, didn't even bother to vote for him just because there's only going to be 1 wide receiver. Why are we putting a second one there? I mean, he and Reggie Wayne both ended up in that first group of guys eliminated, although Wayne has lived in that group since he's been on the ballot for a while at this point.
My Heinz Ward 20 for 20 is looking really good.
It is looking very, very good. Or bad for Ward.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the good news that came out, I knew we had an emergency one a couple weeks ago when we found out that Belichick was not going to be elected.
Mhm.
Um, one of the good things that happened is we found out Belichick wasn't going to be elected ahead of time, so it didn't overshadow the guys who were there. I'm glad that it leaked early because if they had the five names and Belichick wasn't one of the five, that's all people would have talked about instead of the five guys who actually got in. And I'm glad that we got that outrage out of the way ahead of time.
Same with Kraft to a lesser degree.
Yeah, Kraft is not the same sort of thing. He's not the same lightning rod, although don't tell that to Jordan Hudson, who is wearing a whatever of Asia, the salon that Kraft got busted in Miami.
Yeah, what was that about?
Or Orchids of Asia. I don't know. Maybe you're getting mad about the documentary from a couple years ago now. I can't imagine. Um,
But the amazing thing is, overall, she was well behaved. I expected
true,
a social media firestorm from her, and that didn't happen.
true. It went better for them uh, than it did for Diggs and everything after
Oh, of
that game
course.
yesterday.
Oh my. Yeah, I was talking about that. Oh, talk about a bad day, huh?
Whew.
And then you spend $1.2 million on a party you don't go to.
Yeah.
Neither of them went to. I think it's a little presumptuous to have an after party when you don't know if you won or not, but
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. I don't know. But anyway,
better
yeah.
here
So
or there.
talking about that, I'm glad that that happened. Um, should we get to Jim Porter's comments? And I know you've
Yeah,
probably talked about them before.
I have, but I'm glad to talk about it again.
So the first thing that I think is important in what Jim Porter said is that they're going back to in-person meetings.
That
So
I didn't
they
talk
used
about
to do in-person meetings all the time. Then with COVID, they moved to Zoom, and they never went back. And that is stupid. It's just dumb that they aren't doing in-person meetings, or it hadn't been. Go back, have the conversation, bring everyone together. That is something I don't think any of us can complain about,
that. Agreed.
right? I wanted to get that out of the way to just make it seem like I am not just fully anti Jim Porter here. Uh, the what place where he gets me lost is that uh, where he's like, well, we should just keep having the coaches up against the seniors because they were always voted that way before. Why can't they vote that way still?
Right.
And the answer was they changed that because it sucked. And then you brought it back because Deion Sanders is a whiny baby.
And we'll talk about him too.
But this is the third straight year that we haven't had a coach get in, right? And
Yes.
it's not like, and I mean, Buddy Parker got torpedoed from what I'm reading between the lines. I don't officially know, but we know some people who have some insight on what's in that room. And I believe that Bill Polian was part of the group that torpedoed Buddy Parker, right? Then we had Mike Holmgren, who didn't get in last year, who's a very deserving candidate as well, mainly because I don't think people understood what the process was at that point, and the votes were all over the place. Because Ralph Hay didn't draw votes last year,
No.
right?
For
So it was
gold.
really a four-person race, and we still only managed to get one person in.
Mhm.
I mean, Sterling Sharp, right? Uh, this year it's Bill Belichick. And now we had some people like the guy from Kansas City who said he voted for the three seniors, even though he didn't think they were the best people because he didn't know if they're going to come up again. And Porter was like, well, that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be picking the most deserving. But they're not doing it the right way. Like Porter's like, oh, we've had 12 straight years of seven people getting inducted. The number's just getting really high. Yeah. Do you know how many actual players have been inducted in the Hall of Fame with adding these five?
You know, you'd think I'd know that exact number, but I don't.
Well, the actual number of people in the Hall of Fame, just so you're aware, is now 387. Of those 387, and maybe I missed one or two here, somewhere between 42 and 45 of them are officials, executives, coaches, owners, right? So the commissioners, all that stuff. There are 42 of those people. So that means it leaves us with 300. And I had counted 42. I did quickly. There's possible I could have missed a couple in there, like I said. But let's just call it 43 to make the math easy, right? That means there have been 340, let's call it 42 to make the math easy. There have been 345 players in the history of the NFL, which is 27,000 players have played in the NFL at this point. We've got 345 in the Hall of Fame. That's 1.3% of all people who have ever played the sport. What are we talking about?
Are we going to look at some of the other things he said too?
Yeah, go ahead. Do you have anything in particular you want to talk about?
Yeah. Because I mean, this was in let me just scroll back up here. So this is other things that he said. So the Hall will look at replacing voters who might have violated rules by publicly discussing the off-record debate or not by voting for the most deserving candidates. So that sort of ties in with, I'm blanking again on that voter from Kansas City. And kudos to you, sir. You didn't have to respond. And you did. And yeah. I get why he did what he did, because I think, I don't know if I said that to you or I said that on a different show. I would be tempted to sort of do something similar, thinking that other voters might be doing the same thing. You're playing Survivor now when they're not supposed to.
Yeah, it's Vahe Gregorian is his name.
Okay, thank you. Yes. So,
and by the way, I didn't agree with him, but I at least understood his rationale.
I have a similar one because I might have.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't agree with him, but there's times like on the Baseball Hall of Fame, you had my favorite Boston reporter, Dan Shaughnessy, only voting for Dustin Pedroia. Come on, like that's, or the guy Sam Monson voting for MVP, someone he wasn't even supposed to be on the ballot, right? Like that, those are misconduct. This is a guy who had a legitimate reason. He didn't like, even he said it was like he was like, I think Belichick should be in first ballot, but if I don't vote for these guys, they may go away forever. And Belichick comes back. He wasn't happy about it. I didn't agree with his process of doing it, but at least understood why he did what he did. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't dock him, for example, as someone who I would replace. I don't feel there was malice in there. I felt he thought he was in a terrible situation and tried to do the best of it he could for the integrity of the process, right? As he saw fit. That's not what he was supposed to do, but I completely understand what he did. And I'm defending a Kansas City writer here. So
I think I look at this and it's like if Jim Porter pissed in the snow and then got mad because a 2-year-old ate it. You created the rules.
Mm-hmm.
They're reacting to it. Was this an overreaction by some of the writers? Yeah, I think it was. And I think that's what we see in a lot of those cases. We called her Jack Silverstein and Ken Crippen, or not Ken Crippen, sorry, Paul Lawrence. They called this first.
They did.
It was going to happen last year.
They called it as soon as the rules came up, pretty much.
Exactly. So I'd like to think maybe we were ahead of the curve, just thinking that it was going to be an overreaction from a lot of people who didn't understand the rules and didn't pay attention to the math, who all became math obsessed. And that's why this happened. I think a lot of people were outsmarting themselves, and I think a lot of people left off Belichick and Kraft for that reason. It reminds me of my grandfather. He voted in the Ontario election, hated the NDP, which is a party there, but he voted for that party because he didn't want the Liberal government to get a majority, whereas the Conservative, I forget which one, but he voted for a party he never does. Everyone thought the same way like he did, and then the guy won in a landslide.
Mm-hmm.
Projected to, because a lot of people just, okay, well, we don't want him to have complete power. And I wonder how many people outsmarted themselves. It's like,
I mean, all you needed was 12. or 11. You
Yeah.
only need 11 of them to outsmart themselves. And you had at least one person who was actively campaigning against somebody, who then said he voted for him and then couldn't remember if he voted for him or not.
Well, okay, if there's someone who needs to get off the committee, then it's this guy. Because if you can't remember what you actually voted for, there's an issue there.
Bill Polian, again, one of the sorest losers in the history of sports.
Mm-hmm. You called it.
Yeah, he is an abomination. I also very much enjoyed Rodney Harrison ripping Tony Dungy a new one live on TV about it as well, without
I missed
actually.
that. What happened there?
It's basically like if you're in part of a process in which the greatest coach of all time does not get elected, then you basically screwed up the process. And he said people like you, who he beat routinely, like directly to Dungy.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it probably hurt Rodney Harrison's chances of getting the Hall of Fame, but this process itself has hurt Rodney Harrison's chances of getting the Hall of Fame more than anything else. Because right now, at this point, the way I look at it, we are down 3 Hall of Famers at least from last year, a minimum of 3, right? So I think you put Kuechly and Vinatieri in, say only one of the seniors gets in anyway, say it's just Shannon Sharp, but you get at least a coach or a contributor, right? So let's just say Holmgren is in, right? This year, there's no Kuechly or Vinatieri. So let's take the next 3 guys. So that's Willie Anderson, Marshall Yanda, and Terrell Suggs are all in, right? Plus, you got to figure Belichick and Kraft. So we're down 6 Hall of Famers at this point because of a process that was put together in a slapdash manner without actually thinking about it in response to someone who thinks there are too many people in the Hall of Fame, but that Merton Hanks should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Let's talk about him. Because I went off on him earlier. I'm going to do that again because it's still bothering me. Deion Sanders is one of the greatest athletes, period.
Agreed.
Ever. And no one can ever take that away from him. He was must-watch TV. He made the cornerback sexy. That's what he did.
You don't want him tackling in the open field, but in terms of coverage, there's nobody better than that.
But a legit first ballot Hall of Famer, glad he is. But in the interview he did with Kevin Clark, so he torches the selectors, which is his right to do so. But then while he's sort of torching the selectors, he admits that he doesn't actually know much about the process. So he didn't even know who got in. Ryan Clark had to tell him. So this is all while he's saying that only Hall of Famers know Hall of Famers.
He was on NFL Network at one point and brought up, I think it was Kevin Byard. I can't remember who was brought up. And he had said he had never heard of the guy. And the guy had just been elected first team All-Pro. Like, Hall of Famers don't know what's going on unless they're in the media. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to Joe Namath. No offense to Namath. I'm just picking a guy who I know is in the Hall of Fame, has been around for a long time, and is in his 80s. Do you want him voting on Luke Kuechly versus Terrell Suggs?
Not because of his age, but because I don't know that he's actually paying attention to the modern.
You know what? He's 80 something years old. That's okay. Yeah. He doesn't have to be. It's just putting it in his hands. What I think the problem is there aren't enough. The Hall of Famers don't know enough. The writers are a disaster in pretty much every single voting body that we do. There has to be some sort of balance in this whole thing. Get some more historians in there, something along those lines, because it is just insane the way the process works. And this used to be the best process of any of the Halls of Fame. It used to be the best. They didn't need to mess with it, and they messed with it, and now everybody's pissed. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's the children's fault. Could we have screwed up the process? No. It's the voters' fault. No, it's the process itself sucks. Right. I felt bad for some of these guys, right? Well, most of those people didn't want Belichick to miss. They weren't doing it because they were against Belichick. A couple of them probably were, but not most of them, And they're embarrassed by it because this isn't the outcome they wanted. It's the outcome the system that they've put in place has created. And Jim Porter's learned nothing, nothing from what
No,
has happened.
not a thing. It's that Seymour Skinner thing that always comes up. Am I the one out of touch?
Yeah, I was trying to do, but I didn't do a
Yeah,
very good job with it.
yeah,
No, it's the children who are wrong.
right. And that's what we have here.
Yeah,
And Deion, like, this is what you wanted. You wanted a small one. Well, not like this, because my buddies didn't get in.
that's exactly right.
Yeah, because he said three people should have been talked about and been in a long time ago. Darren Woodson, okay. Fred Taylor, eh? And Asante Samuel. Didn't you feud with him for years? But I guess you're buddies now, so it's okay.
I'm a Patriots fan. Asante Samuel has nothing to do with it. It was weird this week when Brady said he didn't have a dog in the fight in the Super Bowl, and the people going after him were Vince Wilfork, no problem, cool with that.
Mhm.
Rob Gronkowski a little bit was like, "Come on, dude, whatever." And then
Yep.
Asante Samuel, we're like, "Why are you back? Like, we do not claim you." Asante Samuel, no, if he gets into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, is the only way he would ever get elected to the Patriots Hall of Fame. He's never even been nominated for the Patriots Hall of Fame at this point. And I can't imagine him being nominated anytime soon. So,
No, I thought it was an interesting three that he sort of brought up.
yeah, but again,
So
he's
those three go in, and then who are you replacing it with? You wanted
yeah,
the small. Like, why does it do that? Sorry, this is Zoom here. It's the second show in a row I've sort of done where the Zoom just sort of goes in and out like a bad SETV sketch. Look,
ooh, we'll get back to we'll talk about SCTV sketches a little bit later.
I guess we will. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so
But
first of all, congratulations to the five people who got in the hall. All of them are 100% deserving.
great class of five.
Great class. If you're going to do five, for five players, it's hard to beat this class of five,
Very
right? Of all those three seniors, I think Craig is most deserving. Anderson second, Greenwood is third for me. So at
Mhm.
least the top one of those guys got in. And I'd say the top four I was expecting it to be Brees, Fitzgerald, and Kuechly. And if there's a fourth Vinatieri, I've said that the whole way through. And ended up being those four. If there was a fifth, I wasn't sure. I thought they might get Willie Anderson in and just out of the way, but it wouldn't shock me if had it been Suggs. Suggs needs to get in the hall. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, Lewis, Reed, Suggs. Those are the three main guys from that Baltimore defense who need to be in.
yeah. Not a great day, but yeah, Jim Porter basically threw the selectors. Well, it's their fault. They
Yeah.
didn't follow the process.
The
Yeah,
process sucks. They did follow the process. We're trying to deal with it.
and
So
and that's just, I guess, our going into a PSA. If you're gonna rip on the selectors, understand how it works first.
they don't.
And well, a lot of the people who were ripping on them didn't. I
Yeah.
guarantee it. I guarantee they did not understand.
I
Uh,
don't think Jim Porter understands how it works. He does understand the math behind how it works.
I think if he didn't get flack, we would have been perfectly fine. Because
Yeah.
let's also ask this question. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, it's still a business, right?
Hmm.
Is it or is it listed as a nonprofit? I don't know.
Regardless, it makes its money by people coming in through the doors.
Right. So how much does he have to necessarily answer to, I don't know what to say, shareholders, sponsors? I think more sponsors than anything else, right? Because if I think it'd be more sponsors. I think it is a nonprofit. Uh, whether it is or isn't is sort of irrelevant, but you have the most iconic coach or the most successful coach, period. So this
Mhm.
Lombardi. You get him in there, you got every Patriots fan coming in. Now you
Mhm.
went, the only Patriot you put in was somebody who did just as much with another team.
Well, as a matter of fact, his pictures they do for everything is him in a Colts jersey.
Was it? Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the picture they had up for the announcement was him in a Colts jersey. And
Okay.
as a Patriots fan, I can't be mad about that. He's the all-time leading scorer in Colts history. He's not the all-time leading scorer in Patriots history.
He is not. No, Goskowski is he not?
Gostkowski is, yeah. Gostkowski broke his record.
Yeah.
So he won the three Super Bowls here, but he's the all-time leading scorer in Colts history. They won a Super Bowl there. It makes sense that he's spent more years in Indianapolis. They spent in New England. So yeah, but again, it's a Hall of Fame, right? We're not we have a whole bunch of people who are stuck and not able to get there. You want people there. Last year, they had very few people at the actual ceremony,
Hmm.
right? It's the biggest day of the year. The Canton economy depends upon this in a certain extent, right? So you get Saints fans and Cardinals fans and Patriots slash Colts fans and Panthers fans and 49ers fans there this year, right?
Presumably.
Presumably.
Yeah.
But if you had, let's just add Belichick and Suggs, now you get all sorts of more people there this year. You get Baltimore fans that all come down for Suggs, right? And Belichick, just you have all of New England coming there for that one.
And if it's Belichick and Kraft, you're coming there just for the fireworks.
Yeah, everybody's coming for that
Right.
and bringing popcorn. Be the Malice at the Palace in Canton. There was one of those tonight. I don't know if you saw that. There's a fight in four people were ejected in the Pistons Hornets game tonight.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
uh,
I guess you're naturally frustrated if you're a Hornet, but
you would think.
yeah.
Plus, not a good team. Anyway, but yeah, the whole process is, and I think we've been through this enough. It's in need of overhauling. That said, the 5 people they put in are 5 deserving people.
Okay. So I want to sort of get your take. This is sort of an addendum to the elevator show that I do with Chris Meridian. And
Okay.
what we started here anyway, right? Until we just sort of like changed formats up.
Yeah, it was here, and then we've changed formats and gone back and forth and everything.
Yeah, yeah. So I had an elevator up and an elevator down on music.
Okay.
And so I want your take on it. So I had Nicki Minaj as an elevator down.
Yeah, very much so.
We don't want to talk politics on this show. We
Mhm.
could, but we generally try to avoid it. But
Here, I can put it this way.
Mm.
If you're an illegal immigrant into this country, don't go for the person who's going to throw out illegal immigrants and expect no blowback.
if you're also well, yeah, there's that. But the reason I bring up politics is because, let's be blunt, I don't know the political leanings of a lot of the selectors for the other big halls that we talk about, nor do I care, and nor does it usually matter.
Usually does not.
If someone might say, well, what about Kurt Schilling? Well, he hated all reporters.
And he also stole money from the state of Rhode Island.
There's also that. But I don't think politics are necessarily what kept him out. I think it's saying, I hate a group of people who vote on me.
Yeah, don't put me in.
Yes, there's that.
Because he would have gotten in that last year. He was on track to get in, and then it fell off.
Yeah.
He was at like 73 something percent. He would have gotten in. He only needed a few more votes, and that was last year.
Would have, though. And the only reason I say that is a lot of the time the people who are more open about their votes that's tracked by Ryan Thibodeau, usually it always sort of goes down. The people who don't, it always goes down usually like 5 or 10% with each one. By the time from his tracking to what actually happens, usually.
Excuse me, sorry about that. I had to.
But again, the reason I'm bringing this up, if you're a writer of the rock, or you're a voter of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think there's a chance. The chances are pretty good that you're left leaning. Fair to say?
Well, much more likely, yeah.
Much more likely. And I guarantee, despite Nicki Minaj being in the Mount Rushmore of female rappers, I think she's the most successful right now of all time. In terms of,
I'm not going to pretend to know that off the top of my head.
But she's got to be up there. Has to be.
Yeah.
Salt and Peppa getting in is sort of the great springboard for an artist like Nicki, who's 43. And let's also be blunt. Your best years are behind you in terms of your creativity. That's just how it works. And the odds of you becoming really big again or putting out like a monster album, it's not great. But once you get north of 40, there's only a handful of people who can do that.
Billy Joel Stormfront, for example.
Yeah. So long story short, and again, whether you agree with her, whether you don't, whether you say bravo for her for standing on what she thinks is she believes her principles to be, don't matter. What matters is that I guarantee a bunch of people who have a vote will say, fuck this. And a lot of the people who are the selectors in that committee You think Tom Morello is gonna like be voting for her, put her
No.
up? Not a chance.
Yeah.
Not a single chance of that. On the flip side, Bad Bunny, who won did he win Grammy for best record?
It's possible. I don't pay any attention to the Grammys, so I can't.
I had to watch it because
I'll look it up.
those rare things where usually I try to not tell Pauline that there's my wife that there's an award show on because then I'm forced to watch it.
Yes, he did win. He won 3 this year: Best Album, Best Global Music Performance, and Best Musica Urbana Album.
Okay, but the best album is the key one here. And let's also be blunt. There was a lot of people who probably voted for him because they knew it would piss off the big guy. And that's how sometimes these games are played. Bad Bunny won that big record. He's the biggest artist right now in the world, I think.
Yep, that is definitely true.
Okay. So he's got all that going for them. And we've seen the Rock Hall try to induct Hispanic artists. They've nominated Mana, and I'd never heard of. And then sure enough, after I learned who they were, then they're selling out Climate Pledge. Right. So there's obviously a giant audience for this. This was a big year for him. Did Saturday Night Live, did the Super Bowl. This is the stuff that they love.
And I mean, Bad Bunny's not eligible to the Rock Hall till 2042 or 2043, depending on stuff.
But this is all the validation, though, that these are the people, they love this stuff. That's what they love. Right, wrong, indifferent, but that's how it is.
Nicki Minaj is eligible in 2035. So,
okay,
we're 9 years out for her.
Okay.
So she's got a lot of permutations to go through. I will say one of my favorite things, favorite but not necessarily favorite. There was a guy who called into a classic rock station with, what's his name? Dirtbag Steve. I can't remember his name. But he's like, why do we have a guy who wears a dress? We never heard anyone like that playing on our station. And the guy's like, yeah, like Alice Cooper or Kurt Cobain or Dave Grohl or David Bowie. And he just kept going and going and going and going with guys who have worn dresses before. Ozzy Osbourne has worn a dress before.
Why
just kept, yeah, he had in the online, did it there, and then someone set it to pictures of all the people he named with them in a dress.
I know Nirvana did too. I missed that.
Who? Or Kurt Cobain?
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he just had one after another, after another, after another. I did think that was kind of funny that we just completely forget how things happen on anything. So
now play some early Motley Crue.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, D. Snyder definitely would never have worn a dress. Anyway,
I don't think it would have hurt or helped his appearance in the least.
I agreed. But anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, I have no problem with either of those. Yeah, I mean, Nicki Minaj did really torpedo stuff. How do you feel about Ye coming out saying, I was bipolar and had all that stuff happen?
I certainly believe that's.
But it's just hard to know whether being bipolar makes you massively anti-Semitic. So.
Well, yeah, it's like when Roseanne did that tweet and said I was on Ambien and said I think the official account from Ambien actually responded.
Yeah.
Look, I forget what it was they said, but something like
Ambien doesn't make you racist.
Yeah, something like
their tagline.
Although we've seen celebrities do 10 times worse than that, but
of course, yeah.
Whatever.
Regardless.
Namely Chrissy Teigen, who was right there behind when that's the other thing about the Grammys too. So like when Trevor Noah was doing, that's the other reason why I thought this is bad for her. So Trevor Noah was listing here's all the people who are here, but Nicki Minaj is not here, and that got a nice applause. Did the punchline.
Yeah.
With right behind her, Chrissy Teigen doing a big thumbs up. And I don't know that maybe you want to sort of like focus on that, Miss Diddy Party Goer, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Hi, I'm because I used to be good looking.
Yeah. Well, and she's married to the world's most boring singer. So
he's only ever had one hit. Why is he still there? One hit.
I don't know. Can't tell you.
Well,
Um, I do have to say this. Congratulations to the city of Seattle for their championship yesterday. Um, I am incredibly zen about the whole thing going in. When it comes to my teams, I just want us to win the games we're supposed to win. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
Like, like we needed to beat the Chargers, and then I was not sure what we're going to do against the Texans. They beat the Texans easily. I'm like, all right. I thought we were going to lose to Denver until the quarterback got hurt,
Mhm.
right? So then we have to win that game. Seattle was just a much better team. The Patriots' downfall this entire season has been the left side of their offensive line. We've got two rookies over there. Campbell's been getting killed because he had a real bad game for pass protection. He was fine up until he got injured and he missed a few weeks. He hasn't been the same guy since he came back. I mean, again, just another rookie. They way overachieved. They're the fourth youngest team in the league. Uh, they'll be fine. I don't know if Diggs will be back after everything that's been going on. Uh, but they only have a few free agents who even matter, right? Uh, Caleb Chase on. I don't think he wants to go anywhere though. He could go somewhere else and make a bunch of money, or he could get just about the same amount of money in New England and have a role that is going to make him a player for years to come. Um, but it's that Seattle team was just a better team. Our offense was not up to the task. I think Josh McDaniels had a very bad night last night. It was too predictable. There were too many times we were like at second and third and 2 or 3, and we just ran straight up the middle. Like, do something else. Run a pitch. Try something just different. And they didn't do it very well. Christian Gonzalez had an awesome game. Patriots should have had about 7 sacks, but Darnold got out of most of them. But yeah, the right team won yesterday. Congratulations, Seattle. They're the best team, and I'm happy with what happened to the Patriots season. Does it suck to lose the Super Bowl? Of course. Did I expect us to be in the Super Bowl? Hell no. We got as far as we could. We won all the games we were supposed to win, and we lost a team who should have beaten us. So,
And, congrats to Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker.
mhm.
Boy, you picked the right game to sort of have right before your free agency, huh?
Yeah. And people are saying that the kicker should have gotten the title, the MVP over Walker. Have no idea what the hell they're talking about.
I
I'm
would have
sorry.
given it to Devin Witherspoon, personally.
Witherspoon was, if you're gonna pick a defensive player, Witherspoon is a very good defensive player to choose.
Oh.
I just thought Walker had the most impact on the game. In a game that was a defensive battle, back and forth, he moved the chains and changed field position more than anyone. Other than honestly, I would have given it to the punter over the kicker. He was incredible.
I said on the show I just recorded how much I think the Super Bowl needs to sort of look at having an offensive, no defensive player of the game. Defensive
Yeah,
end.
it's strange that they don't have that.
Well, I guess they assume, well, we've had defensive players win before. Okay. But
Yeah.
oh,
What was his name for Tampa Bay? Dexter. I can't think of his name. Back in 2002.
Dexter Manley?
No, I can't think of his name. Anyway, that's right. Hold on. Tampa Bay Super Bowl MVP. Dexter Jackson.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He had 3 interceptions in that game. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, no, I just want to make sure I put that out there. Congratulations uh, to the Seattle Seahawks. Completely worthy. I did say Supersonics there. Just by the way, the NBA is going to vote on expansion this offseason.
I'm sure they'll say yes to it.
Well, I don't know. Apparently, their rich people don't want to divide their pie anymore. But
Well, yeah, they'll say that until they realize, oh, we're going to charge 1 billion for the expansion fee.
yeah,
No.
so you got to figure it's going to be Las Vegas and Seattle. So the Supersonics return.
I sometimes wear a Supersonics hat. I can't tell you how many times I'll walk by and just people say, "Bring him back, bring him back." So,
My wife's favorite hat to wear is actually an old Hartford Whalers hat.
oh yeah,
And people talk about that all the time. The best logo ever in terms of like logo design. The Hartford Whalers with the tail, giving you both the H and the W. It's fantastically done.
I love how too when they had their age or their minor league team, which was in Binghamton, so they just flipped it to the side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and bring back Brass Bonanza. Ba, 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 ba. If you wonder what that is, that's the song they used to play in Hartford every time the Whalers scored a goal. So there you go.
Didn't play that often.
No, I mean there used to be 20 teams in the NHL and four divisions of five teams each, and the top four in each division would play like little round robin for who got to go to the Eastern and the Western Conference Finals. And for most of my life, the Whalers were the team left out of the Adams division.
I remember
So
Don Cherry saying about that whole system. Oh, yeah, and people said we're talking about tradition. Oh yeah, the great tradition of Montreal playing the Hartford every year.
yeah, and now they've gone sort of back to that in a weird way. So
Uh, tis what it is.
it
Uh,
is what it is indeed.
yeah. So, well, we haven't waited a month to record, so hopefully there's a few less deaths.
There are quite a few, fewer depths. I was going to, I said I had a better way of doing it, but we had so many, A, don't have that many,
Mhm.
but B, so many major ones. I want to make sure that I don't just do like the top 11 here. So let's just go into those quickly.
Sure.
We did lose one person to the beige mistress,
Mhm.
uh, Lajos Odor, who is a Hungarian rower who competed in the 1980 Olympics, died at the age of only 65. So that one seems like a mysterious Hungarian uh, serial killer.
All right.
Only had a couple of um, celebrities who I want to talk about. Start with Demond Wilson, best known as Lamont from Sanford and Son. Also was the Oscar Madison, the new Odd Couple, and a few other things. But he passed away at the age of 79. Um,
Favorite show. Love. That's my favorite sitcom of the 70s.
It's a great show. Like I brought this up before, but I lived for a year with my then 88-year-old great aunt in 2008, 2007 into 2008. And we watch a lot of Nick at Night because, that's what I do. And I realized that the worst television show ever made, well, that was popular at least. I don't want to talk about my mother, the car. But
Super popular.
no, that was not popular. But the worst show ever made was Green Acres. It is so bad. But
Joe.
we watched a lot of Sanford and Son, and we saw like all of the original Mission Impossibles. And I discovered a show I never heard of with Vic Morrow called Combat, which was awesome. A lot of the other shows were just, they're fine, right? Get Smart's always fun, but Dragnet's just Dragnet. But Sanford and Son was always one of the highlights for both of us. That show is very, very, very good. And Red Fox was an absolute genius. So, but
Amazing.
it doesn't work without Lamont.
No, no, absolutely. Yes. Okay, Winnie's very excited. Yeah, for sure. It's the back and forth between him and Aunt Esther, Lawanda Page. It was just incredible. Like that's another one too, where you realize, like, my God, the 70s really aged people. Fred
Hmm.
Red Fox, I don't think was even 50 when that show started.
Yeah, he was if he was just barely. It was like 50 or 51 total.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So uh yeah, it's funny. He and Cleavon Little appeared as robbers on All in the Family in 1971. Can't imagine that happening anymore. Um,
I don't remember that episode.
yeah, I don't either. I'm just seeing it sitting what I have here. But absolutely one of the best shows. Rest in peace, Lamont. Demond Wilson gone at the age of 79. The bigger one I teased it earlier with SCTV. Catherine O'Hara
Yeah.
shockingly passed away at the age of 71, joining Joe Flaherty and John Candy as no longer with us from the main cast of SCTV. Um,
What a amazing long career she had.
yeah, she was both 71 seemed like not the right age for her. I don't know. It was hard to figure out how old she is because she's been around forever. Um,
And
I mean,
it's weird because she doesn't look she I always thought she looked pretty good for
mhm,
but I didn't think that when she was younger,
mm,
so but yeah, it's like I think we all know a lot of people know her best as Kevin's mom.
Right.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people say that like, how is she so irresponsible? What about the dad? He didn't seem to give a crap about anything happening around him.
Well, he was running a legitimate business in order to afford that house and bringing the entire family to Paris. Um, but yeah, I mean, she was in tons of stuff though. Everything from uh, you know, the Waiting for Guffman. She was in Wyatt Earp, the voice of Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas. Beetlejuice, of course, and then Beetlejuice, which came out last year.
He in
Uh,
Schitt's Creek. I've never seen that, but
the Beetlejuice or the second one?
Schitt's Creek.
Oh, Schitt's Creek. Oh, Schitt's Creek is fantastic.
Never seen it, but
That show is awesome. Um, yeah, just so many things that she was in that I enjoyed over the years. Yeah, Schitt's Creek was excellent. Um, I'm looking, she has even more TV stuff than she has anything else. But she was on last, oh, yeah, she was Skelka in The Last Kids on Earth, which we all watched here. The Last Kids on Earth is a cartoon based off of some books. And Skelka was a one of the monsters there, who was incredibly funny. But yeah, she was just in tons of things and made me happy every time she was on the screen. So it's pretty sad that she is no longer with us at the age of 71. Um, it said that she had a pulmonary embolism with rectal cancer as the underlying cause.
oh, okay.
So there are pictures of her from recently where she looked like she lost a lot of weight. Um, so I'm presuming that was the cancer, but yeah, Godspeed to one of the funniest ladies out there. So, um, yeah. Anyway, from baseball, I bring this up because there are so few of them left. We lost one of the New York Cubans from the uh, Negro Leagues.
Hmm.
Aren't there many of those guys left? Ron Teasley passed away at the age of 99.
Oh, wow.
Played with them for 1948 on that team. So imagine how many people are left from the 40s who are professional baseball players. There cannot be many.
Okay.
So yeah, 99 years old for Mr. Teasley. Uh, from from baseball, we lost a couple of folks. The two-time World Series champion, Terrence Gore, one of the fastest guys in the major leagues, played for the Royals, Cubs, Dodgers, Braves, and Mets. Was on World Series champions with the Royals in 15, the Dodgers in 20, and the Braves in 21. Didn't really have that many appearances. He just basically was a pinch runner extraordinaire for the postseason. But he passed away at only the age of 34.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like he's got like one really good skill, but it can actually help you win a World Series. It'd be like if he's like Mac McClung, only he's worth something.
yeah, exactly. Hey, Mac McClung is worth a contract for the Chicago Bulls. Come on.
But
Um,
did some team just sign him too? I'm sure. So that he
yeah, that's what I said. The Bulls.
okay, for real. Okay,
Yeah, the
so
Bulls signed him.
just so that he can appear in the slam dunk contest.
No, he's not doing the slam dunk contest, and then he got an NBA contract. The Bulls at one point had 11 guys on their roster between 6'5" and 6'9", or 6'4" and 6'9". They traded all their big guys and all their real little guys, and everybody was the exact same height. So anyway,
Strategy. Let's
yeah,
see if that pays off.
yeah. Well, Gore died from complications following a routine surgical procedure
Yeah.
at only the age of 34. So I don't even know what it was. But yeah, 34 is far too young. A little older than that, Mickey Lolich passed away at the age of 85, a three-time All-Star, World Series champion in 68, where he was the MVP, wins leader and strikeout leader in 71, 217 wins, 191 losses, 3.44 ERA, and 2,800 plus strikeouts. Played for the Tigers, Mets, and Padres. But his 68 World Series is nuts.
Yeah, like absolutely incredible player. Imagine though, if you're a fan of the Tigers in '68 and you've got your 1-2 of McLean and Lolich.
Hmm.
By the way, neither of them are going to get sniff the Hall of Fame.
No.
like you'd think that that'd be an insane comment to make to somebody in 68.
Yep.
But yeah, still a very, very good career. And yeah, that one hell of a postseason.
Yeah. So at 68 series, game one, Bob Gibson's pitching for St. Louis. So he beat McLean. No shame there. But Lolich came back the next game to win 8-1 in game two. Also hit the only home run of his 16-year career in that game. Good time to hit it.
Yep.
Lost the next two games, followed by 3-1. Lolich came back game five. But by the way, that one game is a complete game. So game five, he comes in and then pitches another complete game. McLean then wins game six. And then game seven, Lolich takes on Gibson. Both pitched six scoreless innings. Lolich actually picked off both Lou Brock and Kurt Flood in the same inning. And they won 4-1 in that game, where he had three complete game wins, including game seven against Bob Gibson. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good series. And a home run. So Godspeed, Mickey Lolich. He passed away at the age of 85 in a care facility in Sterling Heights, Michigan. So member of the Michigan Hall of Fame and the Croatian American Sports Hall of Fame, which I didn't know was the thing.
I didn't
Um,
know.
yeah. So, all right. From football, actually, let's do hockey first. From hockey, Jim Morrison, not that Jim Morrison, passed away at the age of 94. Played with the Bruins, Maple Leafs, Red Wings, Rangers, and Penguins in his career. Played from 51 to 73 overall. Appeared in 704 games in NHL. But he passed away at the age, as I said, of 94 years old. And also passing away from hockey was Chuck Lefley. Do you remember him?
No.
Won the Stanley Cup twice with the Canadiens, 71-73. Also played with the Blues from 1970 to 1980. Member of the Manitoba Hall of Fame, 292 points in 407 games, but he passed away at the age of 76. All right, now we'll go to football. Scott Laidlaw, member of the Super Bowl champion 12 winning Dallas Cowboys, passed away at the age of 72. Chris Gilbert, a member of the College Football Hall of Fame, mostly for his time with Texas as a halfback. He passed away at the age of 79. Barry Wilburn passed away at the age of 62. He was one of the few people who has both a Super Bowl and a Grey Cup championship. So he's a member of the Super Bowl 22 winning Washington Redskins, and then the 1994 who won the Grey Cup in 1994? The BC Lions, I believe.
I'll take your word for it.
But
I'll take your word for it.
well, they that's the one where they played Baltimore, which is the first time a U.S. team was in the championship for the Grey Cup. But he passed away at the age of 62, unfortunately from uh, complications from being burned in a house fire at his house, which seems not the way to go. Also passed away former Giants coach Ray Handley. Do you remember him?
I do.
Two-time Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl 21 and 25 as assistant with the Giants. Then was their head coach after Parcells left in 91 and 92. He passed away at the age of 81. The biggest name, of course, and let me just make sure I got the biggest name, of course, in football, Hall of Famer Sonny Jurgensen. Passed away at the age of 91. At the time of his death, I believe he was the fourth oldest living Hall of Famer. Yeah, so only ones older than him, Marv Levy, Raymond Berry, and Lenny Moore. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 91 years old. When I was in college in DC, Jurgensen had a sports show on like Friday nights where he would go through stuff. So I was more familiar with Jurgensen than probably otherwise would have been. But do you have anything to say about Sonny Jurgensen?
A hell of a quarterback. You can't talk about the Washington Redskins without mentioning his name.
100% true. So the 10 oldest living Hall of Famers, just since we're here. Marv Levy's 100. Raymond Barry and Lenny Moore were both born in 33. So that makes them, what, 93 this year? So 92 now. Jerry Kramer, Chuck Howley, Dick Vermeil all turned 90 this year. Tom Flores and Dick LeBeau will turn 89. Ron Mix, Johnny Robinson, and Ron Wolf will all turn 88 this year. And the youngest Hall of Famer now, Luke Kuechly, was born in 1991. He was elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame before he's even old enough to become president. So,
But Gale Sayers still holds the record, right?
probably. I think so. Sayers was, I think, 31 when he was elected, or
Oh, okay.
32. I think he was 32 when he was elected. Kuechly's 34. Old man. Okay. Everyone else is from music. So we'll start with Billy Bass Nelson, or Billy Bass. I think it's Bass Nelson. The original bassist for the Parliament Funkadelic, elected with the Parliament in 1997. He passed away at the age of 75. He was in, it was weird. George Clinton said he died in hospice care, but his family said that he wasn't in hospice care. I don't know when he passed away. So I don't know. But he was called, a guitar player once called Nelson as the Wynton Marsalis of funk, an opinionated player with strong views about what is and isn't generally funky. But he always said that funk is meant to be played at a very specific tempo. And a lot of groups play it just all too fast. If you want to play raw series funk, you got to slow it down. So after he left Parliament, he played with the Commodores, Jermaine Jackson, Lionel Richie, Smokey Robinson, and many others. So there you go. So rest in peace, Billy Bass Nelson, at the age of 75. Also passing away at the age of 59, Brian Loren, who had some hits in the 80s with Lollipop Love and Do You Really Love Me, where the R&B and hip hop charts. Also worked mostly after that writing songs for people like Whitney Houston, Sting, Michael Jackson, and probably most importantly Bart Simpson, because he's the guy who wrote Do the Bartman.
Mm.
But he passed away at the age of 59. I'm
His
sorry to
royalties
make.
on that are pretty sweet, though.
I'm sorry.
Which his royalties on that are pretty sweet.
I bet they probably are. Um, So, former bassist of both Blondie and Television, Fred Smith, passed away at the age of 77. Um, so, he was originally with Blondie when they actually he was with them originally when they were Angel and the Snake, which then changed their names to Blondie and the Bonsai Babies, and then just Blondie. But he left in 75 to replace Richard Hell, who had left television at that point. And Hell then went on to form the Heartbreakers um, to back up um, Tom Petty. But he said at the time, Blondie was a sinking ship and television was my favorite band. And so that's why he left one for the other. So Fred Smith was 77. From the fifth dimension, Lamont McLemore passed away at the age of 90. I was not aware that there were members of the fifth dimension still going, but there are still a couple. But he passed away at the age of 90, as I said. Was the first African American athlete to ever try out for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's a minor league pitcher with the Dodgers and tried out for the Cardinals. But also at one point worked as a professional photographer, both People and Playboy. So there you go.
So an athlete, a musician, and an artist.
Yeah, it's an interesting man.
So basically, he had more sex than the next 200 people you see combined.
Unless one of those 200 people is Will Chamberlain, the answer is yes. Um,
Now I got to watch Conan the Destroyer again.
So yeah, but both Marilyn McCoo and Florence LaRue are still alive from Fifth Dimension. They're in their 80s, but Lamont McLemore was 90 years old. Also passed away, Garland Green passed away at the age of 83. Wrote Jealous Guy and the Fella, which hit number 5 in the Billboard chart in 1969. and a few other songs on the R&B charts. Uh, that was his biggest hit, though. But he passed away, as I said, at the age of 83. And the last three all kind of hurt me a little bit in different ways. Let's start with Chuck Negron, the original singer of Three Dog Night. Those iconic solos on One, Easy to Be Hard, Joy to the World, Show Must Go On, Old Fashioned Love Song, Pieces of April, all those other songs. Negron, I love Three Dog Night. They're one of my favorite bands who I know will never get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right up there with Toad the Wet Sprocket. But he died of COPD. But there's nothing I can say about Three Dog Night. They're just have always been one of my favorite bands, and I always loved Negron's voice.
What's COPD? I don't know what that is.
That's the disease you get from smoking too much.
Oh, okay.
COPD stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Okay.
So that usually you have to be on oxygen when you have that. So, yeah, like I said, a Negron is 83. The other two are way too young to me. Greg Brown, the founding guitarist for Cake, passed away at either 54 or 55, or 55 or 56, excuse me. Um, but he played with them on Motorcade Generosity and Fashion Nugget um, before he took off. He's the one who wrote The Distance. Um, but then he joined Death Ray and went on from there. Just, I love Cake. Cake is one of the few albums that I have, or few bands I have every one of their albums.
Okay.
And I will listen to them on trips all the time. Comfort Eagle's not my favorite, but Motorcade Generosity and Fashion Nugget in particular, and Prolonging the Magic, all three of them are amazing. And yeah, it just people from Cake should not be dying, is what I'm saying.
Not at this stage, no. It's funny, like every time that comes up in a chat with anybody, there's just a passion for that band that a lot of bands just don't have. Like
Yeah, it's weird because
like them a lot.
it's like down tempo where a guy kind of talks, and every once in a while there's a trumpet that comes in. But for something about it that just works. Um, so he also actually went back and did have a guest appearance on Showroom of Compassion as well on Bound Away. But yeah, he passed away at somewhere in his mid 50s. I don't know what year he was born, so I can't give you the exact age. And then the last one, Brad Arnold, the lead singer of Three Doors Down, passed away at the age of 47.
Other one too young. Oh,
Yeah. So he wrote Kryptonite when he was 15 years old. And they rose to prominence at that point. But yeah, he's only 47 years old is very, very, very young. So
yeah, no, I know we're getting older, but it still doesn't when it's someone younger than us.
yeah. Yep. So anyway, so
Well,
that's all the folks I had. There weren't really there. I cut as much of the filler as possible. There's some people that I thought we needed to
no, for
bring
sure.
up. So
All right. Well, thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe, all that happy, crappy stuff you're supposed to do that I'm supposed to promote on YouTube.
happy crappy stuff. I like it.
Yeah, well, there we go. Every now and then I come up with a gem. Not often. Check out everything else that we do at nothalloffame.com. Lots of interviews, lots of articles that we're working on. A lot more shows. Going to be doing. I don't know. Maybe if you want to join this sort of last minute, but uh, we're doing an Olympic hockey preview tomorrow.
Ooh. Unfortunately, I cannot do tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. So,
But
we'll see how things sort of shape up. It's loaded.
I will say the Olympics has been fantastic. It was fun to have my wife watch one run in luge and then be an expert on what everybody was doing in luge. Um, we also found that there is a place we can luge for 3 hours, not far from our house. So we may be doing that coming up here.
Three
I
hours.
also
That's one hell of a long run.
yeah. I also I also will say that I like the losers because they have my body type. There's a little bit of flubber in all those guys. It's nice.
Okay, I thought you were going to go somewhere else with a certain crotch view or something, but okay.
Well, I mean, I that's for the ladies to decide. Uh,
Love
so
it.
for once, I said something embarrassing.
Yeah, usually it's me. I
Yeah,
excel at that. I certainly excel at that.
but yeah, curling's been great. Speed skating's been great. Uh, God speed to Lindsey Vaughn, whose career is almost definitely over at this point.
At this point, well, got to give her credit. I mean, we've seen people bow out with much worse.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and also I like the fact that there is a Breezy Johnson has been brought into my life that somehow was not a member of the mod squad. So, but
God.
anyway, yeah, it's been great. So
So,
anyway, go ahead and finish your show.
well, if you like Olympic sports, then you'll definitely love the United States Athletic Hall of Fame, which has inducted many an Olympian. In fact, we even interviewed one.
You interviewed one, yeah. This is a really good interview with Bonnie Blair,
Oh, thanks. I
who
have
is
to,
who's incredibly nice. She just seems like a super nice person.
I was fanboying out a bit. I didn't realize how much of a fan I was until she
Yeah,
pops up on the screen.
yeah. She was just super nice the whole way through.
Of Yeah, very sweet, and then still bouncy. Like right before the
Yeah.
interview, oh, do I need to get some notes? Just 1 second, and then she just starts off like, man, she still got it.
She was even on skates.
No, no. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we're hoping we're going to do a lot more interviews in the future. But I keep talking to my friends. That's a lot of fun too.
That also works.
That's absolutely. So with that, we all say, what did we say, Winnie, at the end? Wherever you are, wherever it may be, make today count. Because it never comes again, right, Winnie?
Take care, guys.
All right, bye.